Hot Tub Factory Outlet is now open in Draper. Don't wait months for your hot tub. Get it now. Enjoy that outdoor deep soaking experience you've been thinking about all year. Whether you have limited space or lots of room, you can have that relaxation you've been wanting today. Shop Utah's newest selection of Viking hot tubs. They're all on display at the beautiful new showroom. Best pricing in Utah and no wait time while supplies last. Hot Tub Factory Outlets at hottubfactoryoutlets.com.
For such a crazy car market where no one has vehicles, Tim Daly Infiniti is your home for an incredible selection of great quality used vehicles for any budget. And the best part? Most are backed by the Tim Daly Forever Warranty. Tim Daly Infiniti still wants your trade-in or to simply buy your car outright with a quick payoff. Don't wait. Come see us today. Think Tim Daly Infiniti and think
it's forever your warranty.
KSL's Unrivaled welcomes you to the Players Club, sponsored by UCCU.
Blue one.
Monday nights at 7, BYU quarterback Jaron Hall joins KSL for an insider look at the BYU football team. Join Scott Mitchell and Alex Carey in the Unrivaled Players Club on KSL News Radio.
All right, everybody, welcome on in. It is KSL's Unrivaled. Alex Carey, Scott Mitchell. It is the Players Club. Jaron Hall on the other end here, live from Provo, Utah. Jaron, how you feeling tonight, man?
Good. Feeling good.
You're on like a 2-week vacation.
It's a matter of how you feel good. It's how you look at the situation.
My favorite part of this is that it gets to the game. Like we were kind of getting word during the week, hey, Jaron's still the status is unknown, and we're all going, sure, right. And then when I see you out there with a windbreaker on and a colored like jersey that somebody's looking over at the sideline to get some signals called in, I thought Jaron is like, well, number one, you must be chomping at the bit to get back on that field.
Oh yeah. Well, supposedly I was dressed for the game in pads. I don't know
who said that,
where that came from, but no, I guess the dudes, whoever was in charge of commentating in the game. So I was dressed playing.
Well, they got the right picture this week, though,
yeah, this week they had the right guy up on the screen.
Guys, not some recruit from Timpview.
Yeah, it's fine. So let's get your thoughts right off the bat here. BYU 5-0. Let me see. I didn't catch up with the rankings this weekend. Oh, number 10 in the AP. Yes. Okay, that's interesting. Number 10 in the AP.
Interesting. That's amazing.
I know,
awesome.
You guys. It's a lot of attention. At the very least, do you guys look at, not the rankings necessarily, but, I mean, you guys were 5-0 last year. Is this kind of old hat? Obviously, it's different because the schedule's been a lot different.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is different in that sense, but I think you expect, and hope to win every game, and that's always the confidence that we have. So now it's just a matter of, we get excited for the accomplishment we've had, up to this point, but also realizing that with that comes, a whole different aspect of how teams are going to play you. You're going to get your best shot from everybody. So you got to put that aside early on, and you got to go to work and prepare better than you did the last week for each week,
So Baylor Romney gets injured, and then Jacob Conover comes in and is able to, pull out the win. Mm-hmm. What impressed you about Jacob?
He looked very composed. I think a lot of guys, when you tell them, hey, you're going in, I think you can kind of see in their eyes, not the look of shock, but just kind of, shoot, it's my time. Deer in the headlights, exactly. And with Jake, it wasn't like that. He said, yeah, I'm ready to go. Just went out, did his thing, and we won the game. So I'm super happy for him, and, it's what we expected from when he went in.
The first game you went in, what was the look in your eye? How did you feel? Like, do you remember your first game?
When you got that shot.
Oh, yeah. No, I was excited, man. I'm sure it had been years since I played football, other than a couple times a year prior to that, getting games. But to actually have the reins in your hand and to go into a 2-minute drill was exciting. It was fun. So, yeah, it was a good way to dive in and kind of get my first bit of action at the college level.
Everybody made something out of like the herd, the student section right behind the bench this year, and not just over on the other side. Yeah. Did you get that sense? Like, I mean, Chaz Ayu was talking about during his podcast during the week how wild they can get.
Oh my gosh!
And the stuff that they say actually fuels you. I mean, we saw the video and the pictures of them throwing stuff,
yeah.
but what was your thought on the sideline there in terms of like the setup as to where you guys are versus where the student section?
I'm sure it's all by design. A competitive advantage, I'm sure, is what they thought they'd get. But, I think when teams are prepared enough, you just put it beside you, and like Chaz said, it gives you energy, if you channel it in the right way. So it was exciting, man, to hear all the stuff they were saying, and it really brought energy and excitement to us. So, that's how they wanted to play it, but I think we were prepared for it. We practiced all week with noise, and, we knew it happened, but I think that's at BYU. You get a lot of mature kids who can just kind of push past those things, and that's what we did.
You talked last week about this being a rivalry game. What did you feel in the game? Did it feel like it had that special spice to it?
Yeah, from the very beginning. Their student section was completely full when we pulled up in the bus and went out for warm-ups. Just so from the very get-go, their guys were on our side warming up, and you could just feel the tension of the rivalry in the air, but it was fun. It was a great. I love playing at Logan. When I played there, it was one of my favorite stadiums to play at, just because of the way it's shaped and the environment. Where it's at, it's in a beautiful spot, so it's a great place to play football, and their fans, they're a lot of fun.
Well, they were warming up on your side of the field.
Oh yeah,
is that
just
like
before we got out there,
gamesmanship
yeah,
thing.
I mean,
or
you've seen it in the years past. It happens, but that's football. So it was.
Do
it was
you
a
do
good
those
time.
kind of things, Jared?
I'm a quarterback, so I do not do those things.
He's like, I will not even be out on the field till I have to be. Yeah.
No, I just chill on my side and do my thing. But no, they weren't in the wrong. I mean, they were out there before us. You could just kind of feel it.
It's part of the environment.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
always love that kind of stuff, even if it does. I know that Baylor took the sign home that said, Gunner took the sign home that said Gunner is a stupid name. He went and got it from the kid in the stands, and he gave it to him. So I thought that was nice of him.
That was pretty funny.
When did you know last week that you were not going to be able to go, and where's the progress this week?
Yeah, just up until the day before the game, just understanding where my body was at and not being able to do some of the things in practice that I needed to do in the game. So today, honestly, it's still the same thing day by day, but I feel pretty confident that I'll be ready to go this week, and just continue to work with the training staff to kind of resolve the issues I'm dealing with right now.
Every game is an experience, regardless of whether you play. Every rep, whether you're in or not, is. So what did you learn this week?
For me, it's consistency. In the first quarter, we were very, very consistent. Every time we got the ball, we put points on the board. We got down the red zone. We just did our little things correct. That we weren't calling any crazy plays, just our normal offense. So when we can continually do our 1/11th, we roll and we get points on the board. In the second half, we fell a little bit out of that consistency, got out of our groove, and it showed. It made the game a lot closer than it needed to be. But kudos to them. They play really hard all the way through. So just being consistent, through all four quarters is the next step that we can take.
I think Baylor went out right before the end of the first half, and then it was, then Jacob Conover comes out, and everybody sees that number 17 getting under center, and I think we're all kind of thinking, oh, boy. There was a moment, too, where people are going, okay, now BYU's in preservation mode.
Right.
Everybody else said that. Tyler Algier did not think that, I think. And so his performance, what did that do for you guys, too, to be able to have that kind of spark?
Oh, man, Tyler, he did his thing. The O-line and him and Lopini, every week they're consistent in practice and their tracks and the way they block wide zone and mid zone and everything else that we do. And then it showed up on the game. I mean, you've seen it in the first 4 games before now. Our O-line absolutely dominates and give a lot of room for Tyler and Pini to work and to wear those guys out. And so, honestly, we come out of the second half, and that's what was working for us was the run game. So we just stuck with it. And sure enough, Tyler goes off for a huge night. Lopini breaks off a lot of big runs and big situations. And so for us, it's a team where we have so many guys who can do so many things on both the pass and run game that you just kind of go with what's working. And we're here to win games. That's it, whether it's flashy one night or not. As long as we win the game, that's all that matters.
Can I ask you about your status this week, or is it?
Be my guest.
So, Jaron, what is your status this week?
I am practicing.
Oh, hey now. But is that different from the other weeks, though?
No, I practice every week.
Oh, come on. See, now I can't.
So are you throwing with your left or right hand? Which one is it?
See, I tell people that's the one arrow in my athletic quiver I don't have.
Oh,
is
you can't
the
do
left
that.
arm throw, man.
Oh.
I can't do everything. You ask me to do anything else,
I got
man,
left-handed throws all over the place.
I can't throw my. See, that's impressive. That's the difference.
Well, that's because he's a lefty.
I throw left-handed. So.
Okay, well, there you go. Either way, I cannot do that. I wish. Make life easy.
Okay, so as we've kind of progressed here, we're going to take a break. We've gotten through kind of this week, breaking down a little bit of what that Utah State game was. Let's talk about another rivalry game on the horizon this week, coming back to Provo. Boise State coming into town. Jaron's going to break down a little bit of what they expect from the Broncos. I'm so glad it's not going to be on blue turf, but we'll take the break here. We'll come back. More to go right here on the Players Club.
All right, sports fans, welcome back. It is Unrivaled Players Club, brought to you by UCCU. Love where you bank. We've got Jaron Hall on the radio tonight. So you've been through 5 games, 5-0. Jaron, looking back so far on the season, what's been a really pleasant surprise for you that you didn't expect from this season?
To be sitting on the bench for the last 2 games. That was my very unpleasant surprise.
Oh,
I guess.
I was going to say.
But what's the pleasant surprise? I understand that part. But
you know how this question goes, man. I don't know what surprised me. I mean, shoot.
I mean, you have to have an expectation going into the season. And was there something you just go like? Does the game seem easier to you? Do you just?
Oh yeah. That's a good one. I mean, the game slowed down a lot this year. I knew it would just because I've been around for so long now. I'm going on my 4th year here at BYU, and I knew knowing the playbook better it'd be easier, but. Honestly, it's slowed down quite a bit, so that's kind of been a very, very pleasant surprise.
Has that happened because of that you've had consistency with your OC? You've watched Zach Wilson a year ago. You're more mature. I mean, do all those things factor into it?
Yeah, all the above, absolutely. You take a lot from the more time you spend with your OC and kind of learn how they think. And watching guys before you end up being the number 2 pick, you spend a lot of time studying their game and seeing what changed and how they got to that point. And then just the off season, who you work with, how often you work with, how much you watch film, how much film you watch, time with your guys. So it's all just added. Obviously not playing baseball gave me so many extra hours, in the spring months and the early summer, not playing just to focus on ball. So that definitely – I think helped out with that game slowing down.
We always talk about how you guys start studying film basically immediately on your next opponent, and Boise State is one of those rivals that's on the board of teams you want to beat in terms of local rivalries. And so you've gotten 2 down, and you've got Boise State in front of you. Yeah. Boise State this year, a lot different than last year. They had so many injuries last year going into that game, and then you guys put it on them down up there at Boise. So this year, what do you see out of this Boise State team? What do you expect from them?
Oh, they're a great team. I mean, don't let their record fool you. They've had some tough losses. They played really well, and already watching them, you can see the experience they have. Their linebacking core is very experienced and solid players. Their secondary is a group of big dudes who are very athletic, played the game a lot, and then they're up front. They're just stout, and every single guy across the board in their D line is are good players. So we got our work cut out for us, definitely.
So when you play an opponent that's kind of had an up and down year like they've had, but you know that they play well,
and they're going to bring it certainly.
They're going to be here.
Oh yeah.
How do you prepare for that? How do you kind of block out all the noise and everything, and how do you dial in and get ready to play?
Yeah, you just got to be mentally strong enough to tell yourself this is another huge game, despite their last couple of games and their record. You got to realize the significance of the rivalry game, the significance of the last 2 times we've played them. They're going to want to get back at us for sure, and they'll be chomping at the bit to get this one. So we've got to be ready to go into home, to use the energy of our crowd to our advantage, to execute and play ball, and just like the 5 games before, just be the most physical and aggressive team on the field and just do our 1/11th.
As we kind of watch this game every year on the horizon, you kind of see this thing, shape into what it is. I mean, it is a rivalry. I always say it might be even more important than that Utah State game because of how close it's been, how good that Boise State has been in the last decade and a half. And so it's one of those that it's a marquee win either way for BYU because it's like, hey, this is always a team who's ready to play. Yeah. So Baylor got the win last time. They had a game plan dialed up against a team that was undefeated, and that was Boise State was undefeated when Baylor won that game 2 years ago. Yep. And they were a top 15 team. And BYU, you guys were, I think it was 2-4 maybe.
Man. We lost 2 games,
right? And so I think there's a similar kind of inverse thing going on here. Obviously, you guys are aware of being able to go into this game and go, okay, we cannot let our foot off the accelerator here.
No, absolutely. You got to learn from the past, man. They were in the position we're in now, like you said, and so we really just have to be ready to play. I think the more you win, the more you got to accept that's. With every week, you're everybody's best shot, so you got to be mature enough to realize you got to handle your business and not think that you've arrived by any means just because you've won 5 games. It's a long season. You could lose every game from here on out. Any team could, and that record could flip really quick. So we got to play and focus on this next week and prepare like it's the last game of the year for us.
Jaron, what was the message from Kalani after the Utah State game, and maybe walking into, hey, now we're gonna have to put our heads down? What did he tell you guys after that win? Because it's like this combination of wanting to enjoy that moment, but then also having to go right to the fact that you have to prepare for another rival.
Yeah, well, it was lucky we had another day off to watch college football on Saturday because we played Friday, so an extra day to kind of enjoy it and spend time with our families.
Of
and
course.
Conference. And then, of course, that was really the bulk of his message, and I go
watch conference?
Exactly, yeah. Watch conference, take care of, grow spiritually and as a person outside of this, and come back Monday a better football player from that. So, and with that, continue to make a statement with our game, but most importantly, while we had 2 days off, just focus on yourself and your family. Take care of those things that are most important, and we'll get to work Monday.
So you've had 3 quarterbacks now start this season, and you're one of them. What does that do to the quarterback room? Is there tension there? Is there, you guys get along? What? Because now everyone's tasted the field, and they really want to get on it. So what is the vibe with you guys?
No tension at all. It's just business. We all understand the deal, and Coach A-Rod was very good at communicating at the beginning of the year, saying, X will be announced as a starter whenever that is, during fall camp. But understanding football and the percentage of how many teams actually get through a season with one quarterback is very small. So, all of you guys need to be ready for your chance. And to this point, everyone that got their shot was ready. And that's why we're 5-0, along with the help of, our offensive line, receivers, tight ends, and our defense who've been studs.
What did you have to tell Jacob before he went on the field? Because, obviously – it wasn't that he wasn't ready or any of that. It was, hey man, do you have any words of advice you give him when he goes on the field or when he comes off? What were you able to get to him in the game, maybe give him pointer wise? I didn't really try to, give him much advice or anything. I don't think he needed it. I was just there to pat him on the back and say, you're good, you got this, man, because that's all the kid needs. He's ready to go. So I didn't try to give him any kind of wise advice or anything, because at the end of the day, he just needed to go out and play ball. So I probably just said something like that, just go be you and play ball is what I imagine. I don't remember, anything super crazy that I said to him.
Your relationship with Coach A-Rod, and how much time during the week do you spend together, and how much time do you spend during the game? Because you talk about, like, you see things on the field or you see things in your film study and you go, I really want to do this. Mm-hmm. Do you have that relationship? And does he say, "Yeah, I like your ideas"? And
A-Rod welcomes.
What's it like? What's that relationship like?
He welcomes any ideas that we have, anything we like, what we're seeing on a daily basis, whether it's at practice, when we're watching film, or over text when we're watching film at night at our houses. So he's very open. All that he really wants to know what we're seeing, and so. That's been really good. And then during the game, obviously, we see things a lot differently from the field than he does in the box. So when we talk on the phone, we're able to talk about some things that we see and some things we might see differently. And so it's really good, working with A-Rod. It's, no pressure at all. Say what's on your mind and what you're feeling, and the coaches will find a way to work that in.
You got a half a season almost now under your belt here. For us, we cover the sport, but it always goes so fast for us. I would imagine it goes super fast for you guys.
Oh, yeah, man.
What's the ride been like for your little family and you this season? You guys are number 10 in the country. You're 5-0, and you're the quarterback for this team.
Oh, it's been awesome, man. The boys are just, it's a brotherhood. It's so fun after each of these wins to come back on Monday, to see each other, to hang out in the locker room before practice starts, to talk about, the game and the next opponent. And then just to chill, man, just to be ourselves. So it's so much fun. And any season is good when you're winning, so that adds to it. But just this group of guys who have played together for, 2-3 years now, a lot of guys that have been here for a while, we've kind of grinded through it together, and now just to be in this position it's awesome, man. I wouldn't change it for anything.
So you've been out for 2 weeks. Like you've been on vacation for 2 weeks, and what do you need to do, like to get your body physically ready? Yeah. What things have you done to make sure that you can perform and go out there and play at a high level? Because you got a tough opponent.
Yeah, no, over the last 2 weeks I've been pretty good about taking care of my body still, making sure my legs are good and I'm ready to go when I get back out there, so I can play as myself. And then other than that, I spent a lot of time with the trainers and a group of other people outside of that to give me the best chance I can of getting healthy. So it's had pretty much a team working with me this whole time, and it's been great. I'm thankful for all those people that have got me to where I am today, and hopefully be good to play Saturday.
Another week of Jaron Hall, our Players Club here in the books. Jaron, we hope to see you on the field throwing that football around, and not just in warm-ups this week.
With
man.
pads and not a funny jersey.
That.
So
all the best, man. We hope you guys prep for that Boise State game. We're really looking forward to it. Thanks again, man. We'll talk to you again next week. All right, we're going to take the break here. When we come back, more to go on KSL's Unrivaled, the Players Club. We're going to hear from Kalani Sitake, some of these other highlights from that Utah State game, and what BYU should expect against Boise State. Stay with us. It's KSL's Unrivaled. On KSL News Radio, it is KSL's Unrivaled.
KSL's Unrivaled welcomes you to the Players Club, sponsored by UCCU. Monday nights at 7, BYU quarterback Jaron Hall joins KSL for an insider look at the BYU football team. Join Scott Mitchell and Alex Carey in the Unrivaled Players Club on KSL News Radio.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It's KSL's Unrivaled. Glad to be with you. Of course, the Players Club. You just heard last 30 minutes with Jaron Hall. It's on a Tuesday, if you noticed. It's on a Tuesday. Of course, we had the Jazz pregame, first Jazz preseason game, first Jazz game on KSL airwaves in a couple decades, Scott. So it's historic for us. We're glad about it. We've just shifted our Players Club shows this week, and the guys were nice enough to accommodate that schedule. Anything right off the bat that you learned from Jaron Hall this week? I've gotten to the point now where, I mean, we kind of joke about asking, like, hey, man, you going to play this week? This guy's dying to get back on the field. This guy's chomping at the bit to get back on the field. His injury's obviously been more significant than we were first aware of, but I can't imagine it's any more fun for him to tell us that he doesn't totally know exactly if he's going to play.
yeah, and I know he wants to play, and everyone hopes that he plays, and that's great. But there is some value in what's happening to him right now. And when you can go out on the field and play and experience the game and just, okay, I'm here. I've got some games under my belt, big wins. I mean, massive wins, right? Those first three games, that was just huge, really exciting, amazing. And then you get to take a step back. And for anybody, it's one of those things where you really learn from it. The pause button to kind of assess, and people who are actually very successful in their life will do this on a daily basis or once a week, or they'll just clear their mind. They'll assess the week. They'll just kind of go into this analyticals. Businesses do this, and they do an assessment. And so, but normally you don't get the chance because you just go next week, and you just go through the grind of the season. But to actually get to pause can be a very positive thing. And that's why I keep asking him every week, what did you learn this week? What did you see this week? What kind of clicked in your brain this week that you didn't notice or you haven't picked up on? And I guarantee you, he'll be physically kind of rusty, because you get into a flow and a rhythm when you're playing. But mentally, he'll be so much further along. And Jaron's got he's got a really good demeanor. He doesn't get overly excited.
He's pretty even-keeled, isn't he?
Very even-keeled, but it's really good on the team he's on because he got so many stars. I mean, Tyler Algier is really developing into a star. These tight ends are amazing. Wide receivers are amazing. Got a great. I mean, that BYU offense is very impressive. And you just need a guy that doesn't have to be Superman. He just has to, just kind of be the band director and orchestrate and let people sing their music.
I'm like imagining him being. I just love you making the band director sing their music. I love all those. I love all those comparisons, buddy. Should we start singing on the show more? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, we can.
Should we make Jaron lead the KSL Unrivaled choir?
The leader of the band, right there.
Let's do this. Hey, let me bring up something that Kalani Sitake had said in that conversation this week in his press conference about Boise State. And I know that last year BYU took advantage of the fact that there were some injuries there. Imagine if Jaron Hall isn't playing on Saturday, and then Baylor Romney, who we don't know where he is in that concussion protocol, might not be ready to play on Saturday either. Then you're looking at a very different game planning situation. You're looking at putting in a third-string quarterback who, for all intents and purposes, we're at least told by the coaching staff and Jacob Conover that he was a guy that could be right there, right alongside these guys to be the next guy. They always talk about the next man up mentality, that we have to all be ready for this thing. And they're not lying, because they have to be ready. Baylor Romney might not play in this game against Boise State. What does the mentality change? I'll get to what Kalani's comments were about this thing. So I want to see what your thoughts are, though. Like with Jacob Conover, this young kid getting thrown into this, he seems like a guy who actually loves this type of opportunity, and that he wants it, and that if he's going to be the guy, at least temporarily, to be the starter, he's going to absolutely embrace it.
Jaron Hall might want to be careful.
Uh-oh.
I mean, because here's the thing. Jacob Conover's not getting reps. Probably going to get reps this week if these guys aren't healthy. And if he gets reps on a very good team, I just told you how great this team – Jacob Conover doesn't have to be miraculous. I mean, he could walk into an amazing situation with all the talent around him, with his talent, and getting reps and getting game experience. He's a kid that could just skyrocket as far as where his ceiling is. I don't think anybody knows that. I think they think he's a good player, and they think he'll be really good in their system, and he just needs a chance. And now he's getting a chance just because everyone else is injured, and that could be scary for everyone else. And it's one of those things where, the court, and I really like Jaron. I think he's done an amazing job. But man, you got to be on the field. I mean, you got to get on the field, or someone else is going to take your job, and you get a really excited BYU crowd because BYU's 5-0. You're at home, and
number 10 in the country,
and you've got the practice reps, and you don't have to be a hero, and so there's really no pressure on Jacob Conover.
Here's what Kalani Sitake had to say about the quarterback situation for this Saturday. Take a listen right here.
As far as right now, they're all still in contention to play this Saturday. So until we practice and get a look at them, no one's been taken off. So right now, as today, everyone's still available to play.
The janitor's available to play this week.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like you and I might have a shot this weekend, too.
Yeah, really.
Are you available?
Everyone's available.
Are you available this weekend, Scott? I mean, the Utes aren't playing till the evening. You'll have to get back to L.A. pretty quick. But are you available that afternoon to play?
Well, I would hope that they would look at me at practice and they'd say,
and evaluate you.
Evaluate me.
See where you're at. See what's going on with it.
The problem with me at this point, I don't know that I could get my arm warm enough. It would take so long to get my arm actually unstiff enough to actually – maybe not.
Unstiff enough.
You
know what? That's my new product. I'm going to start hawking for people. And that's why Scott Mitchell only uses Unstiff Enough.
Unstiff enough.
So if you want to get that left arm going again from back when you used to play in the NFL, use Unstiff Enough. I'm Scott Mitchell. I promote this product as my own. Unstiff Enough has helped me every morning. All right, Scott. The next thing I want to bring up is,
please bring it up.
Is this one? Is this idea of also using this as cover for not letting Boise State? It's a nice thing to be able to say, hey, we won't let you see all the cards. Or is that a thing would you rather be announcing the quarterback and, hey, for sure, Jaron's 100%, he's ready to go? Or would you rather say, yeah, anybody could play this weekend?
If I'm a coach, I'm probably not telling anybody anything. I'm probably like, yeah, they're all available. But if I'm out here and I'm a fan, it's like, just tell us. Like, serious, who cares? It's not that big a deal. Just say, you know what? Nobody. Jacob Conover's our starter this week. Now, if he's the starter, then you go, well, there's nobody else left because he's the third one.
No, that's the thing is they kept showing Soljay Maiava, who's the fourth string quarterback, on the sideline, and I was going, oh my gosh, like we were told at the beginning of the spring, like, yeah, quarterback's not his position anymore. It's like things have changed considerably now. I'm telling you, get the warm up. You start getting some warm up throws in this weekend, Scott.
It's one of those things that I hate about sports or football is there just always seems to be injuries.
Somebody's hurt.
Somebody just has,
and it ruins a little bit of the maybe we didn't get 100% of what we could have seen.
Even like the Jazz last year, it's like
Peter's out in the playoffs. It's no good. All right. Let's take another break here. Let's take our last break of our Players Club. When we return, hear from Tyler Algier. You'll at least be able to hear his 59-yard touchdown run if you want to recall what that feels like. Plus, Kalani Sitake talking a little bit more about the overview of Boise State, what they have at quarterback, what to expect out of that Boise State team that's coming down to Provo. They're looking to get an upset. Why not? They got nothing else to lose. Stay right here with us. More to go on KSL's Unrivaled.
With Scott Mitchell, Alex Carey, and BYU's Jaron Hall.
Hey, sports fans, welcome back. It is the KSL Unrivaled Players Club, brought to you by UCCU. Love where you bank. I love where I bank, Alex.
Oh, you do?
I love where I work. I love the fact that I love everybody, everything. Everyone's available tonight. And, we'll have anyone.
I'll play anybody. I will put anybody in at quarterback. Look, we might not even play Boise State this weekend. I don't know.
Do you know what my one wonder in life is about sports? So I played baseball, and I just wonder if I could actually play.
Could have been in the majors.
I really do. I know it's a tough road.
I'm rolling my eyes hardcore.
No. I really love baseball.
Listen, you former professional athletes are like, yeah, I did it in football. I probably could have been a professional. I probably could have won a World Series. No problem.
No, I was good.
I know you're a good baseball player.
No. I was like really good. It was really good.
Cool.
Yeah. I love
Bring your
baseball,
letter
too.
jacket tomorrow. We'll wear our Letterman's jackets tomorrow to the show.
I actually played my freshman year at Utah. I was like,
I know.
I was a Jaron Hall.
I can't believe. You see, nowadays the way that things go.
I don't know how they do it though.
No, but the way that things go now, I wonder if you would have been pushed to play baseball more because you're a giant lefty. You had a strong arm. You were thrown in the low 90s, right, when you were in high school.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have developed you into the mid 90s as a lefty. You would have been a surefire. Making a ton of money in Major League Baseball as a lefty that throws in the 90s.
I don't want to be a pitcher.
Okay.
I want to be
here
Shohei
comes the big
Ohtani.
ego, everybody. Everybody
to
get that wheelbarrow out. See if we can wheel Scott's giant ego out of the room.
Wheelbarrow, dump truck.
I just love it. I just love it. I couldn't present to you a $1 million situation in Major League Baseball that you liked. Nah, I want to hit one over the fence. You're like, you know what I'll do? This is like when my kid does.
Everybody loves the long ball, Alex.
You talk like my kids do, which is like this.
Like with hope and kind of, dreams.
Before I shoot you down. Before I shoot them down. No, like they go like this. I'll go, hey, man, what do you want to do when you grow up? Well, either I'll be in the NFL. I'll either be an MVP in the NFL or.
And you crush your kid's dream. I can't. My parents never did that to me.
Oh, my goodness.
Look what happened to me.
Here's the thing, though.
Look what happened to me.
Here's the thing, though. You come up and you're always like, yeah, I'm going to just be Shohei Ohtani. It's fine. I'll just be Shohei Ohtani. And you're like,
why not?
It was between me and Shohei Ohtani. We're going to be the two that we're going to accomplish this amazing feat of being 100-mile-an-hour pitchers and hit the ball out of the park. No problem. You hit the ball out of the park pretty easily, right?
Yeah. I hit 2 grand slams in one inning once.
That's a fake.
It's not a fake.
I'm going to look it up.
Is
that a thing?
It happened to BYU, yeah. It's really
okay.
A thing.
All right.
Not
I'm going to look. No, I'm not saying you didn't do
State playoffs.
Okay.
It happened.
All right. I'm going to find. There's got to be some YouTube footage of it, right?
Pre-YouTube.
Pre-YouTube.
Yeah.
Pre-AnyTube. Yeah. All right. Here's Kalani Sitake, Scott, talking a little bit about Boise State, what they offer in that game against Boise State this weekend. Cougs obviously going in number 10 in the country, undefeated. And Boise State, I mean, you just can't get fooled by these guys. I think that they have higher, they have more firepower than I think people give them credit for right now. So take a listen to what Kalani says about that team.
I think they have, Bachmeier's a really good quarterback. He's efficient. He knows how to spread the ball out, and he has great targets to throw to. He can also run. He's athletic. You put that with all the receivers that they have, the tight ends, big targets. They have a core of running backs that can run the ball. A number of them. I think like 4 guys that we looked at that are guys that are going to get carries. And then, I think they have one of the most dynamic receivers in college football. I think Shakir's a really good player and well-coached team. So I know that they've been, like a lot of other teams, been dealing with injuries and banged up.
Yeah, wait till he plays the London kid at USC. It's pretty good.
He's pretty good?
He's really good.
Well,
I'll tell you this, though. I think one of the hardest things for college football teams to do, because the players are younger, is deal with, like, all of the distraction that could come each week. So Boise State normally is really good, and they're kind of struggling, and you don't know if they're really a good team. You don't know who they are. And so the tendency is we got this in the bag. We're going to beat boy, so you get overconfident. Or you go, we're 10 in the country now and dealing with that.
Yeah, but like 7, 8, 9, 12, 14, 18, they all lost this weekend. Like, this has been like the most upsets you've seen in college football.
But that's why I think it's hard, because these young players, they don't – a lot of times in our sports careers or even in our life, it's harder to deal with success than it is failure. When you're failing, when you lose – man, it's just you grind it out. You're just like, whoa, I gotta, we got to get back on our winning ways. But when you're winning, you start getting complacent. You start taking things for granted. You think, well, we'll just show up and beat them. We'll just show up and beat Boise State because they're not that good this year. And I think that's one of the things for these young players.
Trying to get them used to
that's really hard, and it's getting your mind to just and that's why these routines. And I know you always kind of make fun of me about routines and all this stuff. And rituals and superstitions, but they really just help get your mind away from all of these potential distractions that come on.
I think the BYU this weekend, I think with Tyler Algier being healthy and having that 200-plus yard game against Utah State, you're going to hear a little bit more of this coming up this Friday or this Saturday at middle of the day at LaBelle Edwards
Jet
Stadium.
sweep motion. Algier stumbled, regains his balance, and gets to the second level. Tyler could be gone. The 40, the 30, the 20 of Utah State. He will score. Touchdown, Tyler Algier.
I think this is why.
59-yard touchdown run, and the Cougars score again.
Would you let Greg finish? Jeez.
I jumped on his call. I would just tell you, it's kind of fun to do that, by the way. I would just tell you that's why Kalani does not want it. Because if Jacob Conover is going to be the guy, you're going to get a heavy dose of run, right? And so that may change. If it's one of the other guys, maybe it's a different situation. So if Jacob Conover is playing, and you won't not see Tyler Algier, you'll see him play, and a lot, but it'll just be more if it's one of those young guys.
So Boise State is averaging themselves on the ground to 74.5 yards per game rushing.
They're just grinding it out.
But they are giving up 195 yards on the ground every game. That's the average they're giving up. One of the worst in the country at the run defense. And that's a very not like a Boise State team. I mean, it's just not something that – but they gave up big runs to Tyler Algier last year. And so the good news is that I think that BYU is – I don't know what the game plan is going to look like this weekend. I think they're still going to do the thing where they go over the top. They like throwing the ball. Aaron Roderick cannot help himself. He'll dial up big plays to try to get the thing going early. BYU has been getting started early. They are just getting going really early, and it's a pleasant surprise for BYU fans who are used to, maybe things starting a little slow and then getting going. And then with BYU now, they seem to have they haven't trailed. There are 4 teams that have not trailed once this season in all of college football. It's Alabama, Georgia, and BYU is one of those teams. And so I think that you look at that and you go, man, these are the teams that if you're not losing ever, I mean, that means you're getting out to these quick starts.
Something to be said for a fast start. There really is, and it changes the whole feeling of your team. It demoralizes the other team. I mean, really, it's. I know this is this BYU show here, but I'm just thinking of Utah and going to USC and how, boy, getting off to a fast start is so critical to having success, and it's amazing what it does for your mindset.
So then there's a part about accepting success and seeing that you're number 10 in the country. And for as much as these guys say that they don't see that, come on, man, they see it. They have to see all that stuff. They see on social media. BYU puts it up. Right? It's up on social media. It says, hey, we're number 10 in the country. The AP putting it all out. You see the logo up there. Why wouldn't you pump the fact that you are number 10 in the country? Kalani Sitake, I think he knows kind of where they stand. He knows that it's important for them to be highly ranked. Whether or not you want your guys to totally buy into that is one thing. Here's what he says about trying to get those guys to focus when they know that they have a big target on their back now.
It's one of those things where we need to stay hungry and you keep working. I mean, if everybody thought that we would be this, we would have been ranked number 10 preseason, so there's still a lot of more opportunities for us to shock people, and there's still more for us to do. So I think we've got to keep that edge. we'll talk about it as a team. We always talk about it. The guys are really focused.
Scott, that's what I want to do with our show. Got to keep that edge, buddy. I'm not going to believe the hype. I'm not going to believe everybody talking about how amazing we are. Just going to go out there, grind it out.
I am.
We're number 10 in the country, man. All right. We'll take the break here. We'll come back. Second hour of the program is next. You don't want to miss it. Jeremiah Jensen from KSL5 Television is going to show up. Also, some hot Urban Meyer talk. One of the weirdest incidents over the weekend you could have happen to you. He had it happen because if Urban Meyer's anything, he is a magnet for controversy. Stay right here with us on KSL's Unrivaled.
KSL's Unrivaled. The teams you live for. The sports you love. Scott Mitchell and Alex Keary on KSL News Radio.
All right, everybody. Hey, can you hear me? Welcome in. It's KSL's Unrivaled. I said yelling. I don't know why I was yelling, Scott. I'm just excited about sports, man. Excited about sports, man. I'm going to make it a point to bring out my southern accent a little bit more tonight. I don't know why. Just this last hour. Bring it out. I've got to find a way to sneak it in there, but it's not hard. What?
You go, we got to watch this. It's really good.
Why?
So you got me on this Ted Lasso. I'm just thinking of the Ted Lasso.
You're watching Ted Lasso now.
Right, with the southern accent and all that stuff.
He does have a little bit of that southern drawl.
He does.
He does.
Yeah.
Yes. He's like supposed to be from Virginia or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
I think West Virginia.
Maybe.
It's more of a West Virginia.
One of the Virginias. Yeah. So either way, Ted Lasso, but it's good, right?
I really like it.
A lot of cussing. But I'll tell you.
I got the clean version.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. It's on an 8-second delay.
Oh, there's a dump button you can hit. Boy, they're working hard on it then because there's some episodes with Roy Kent that are a struggle. I love that you're watching that show because it's a positive show.
It really it's got a great message.
It's a great message. It makes you feel good. So there you go. That's my little plug for Apple TV. Yeah. I'm glad you're watching it too because sometimes you don't take my suggestions.
Well, I did eventually watch A Star Is Born.
You did. And
I liked it.
Yes.
Yeah. I just don't like, when people die.
I know well, spoiler alert.
Well, it's been out for years.
Jeez.
It's not like it was
It's like the
yesterday.
fifth version of it, yeah. Scott, it's that time of the night. We got to jump into our 805 cut here. And, of course, the 805 cut, we get to play some of our cut music, which is right here. Let's do it.
The Cut at 805. The unquestioned, undeniable, unrivaled. Top sports story of the hour. Here's what made the cut.
It's the only thing I was mad about that the Jazz game was on in front of our show last night. And I wasn't really mad because I love that we have the Jazz broadcast on KSL News Radio now. Select the Jazz broadcast, by the way, from the Jazz Radio Network all season long, including a couple preseason games. And it was awesome to hear David Locke's voice. It was awesome to hear Booner on the air and to hear that coverage and to hear the game. And I just love how preseason games in the NBA, you think NFL preseason games don't matter. Oof. Those NBA preseason games, oh my gosh.
Do not matter.
There was a hilarious moment where the draft pick for the Spurs goes out there and he scores 17 points. And people are like, Primo, because they're chanting his name.
Right.
And Greg Popovich puts his hands in his face because he's like, this is the last thing I need for this young kid.
Right.
It was just like a murderous scene where they're chanting this guy's name, and he just is like, oh my gosh, I've created
Jared Butler, though, he scored 16.
Hey, it's good.
Started off shaky, though.
The whole team started off shaky, and you know what? Don't care. No Rudy. Neither of the Rudies were dressed.
I wonder how many regular season games people actually care about.
Yeah, I mean...
I want to say maybe 60, 70% of them.
Well, certainly when the Jazz go play the Spurs down in San Antonio this year, it's hard to get up for that one because I think they're projected to win like 25 games or something like that, 27 games.
The Spurs.
Yeah. So,
what are the Jazz projected to win?
Oh, I'll look at it. 50-ish?
50-ish?
Give me your over-under. I'll see how close you are. What are you going to call
53.
it? Okay.
Oh, wait, it's an 82 game.
Yes, 82 game season.
Oh, I give him more. 55.
55. Okay, well, I'll look at it here. Scott, by the way, the cut brought to you by Wasatch Medical Clinic. Struggling with ED, sick of pills? Visit wasatchmedicalclinic.com for a free offer. First thing up here in the cut, Scott, it was one I was disappointed that I didn't get to talk to you last night about. I've just been chomping at the bit to talk about Urban Meyer and the disaster that was his weekend of losing that game on Thursday night. Now, it would be kind of a fun thing to go back. You have to admit, you own a restaurant in Ohio near Columbus, and it's called the Urban Meyer Pint House, okay? The Scott Mitchell Pint House. It's got a good ring to it, doesn't it? And by the way, if we're at the Scott Mitchell Pint House...
See, I would rather call it a quart or a gallon.
Gallon you want more of an American...
Yeah, the pint.
Yeah, I got you. So
it's just not enough.
The Scott Mitchell Courthouse. Wait, what? That makes it sound like you're the law.
The
courthouse.
Court jar.
It's not like night court?
No.
Okay.
I'm thinking of a measurement.
I got you. But the thing is if the Scott Mitchell...
Leader.
Would I get free meals at the Scott Mitchell Quarterhouse?
Yeah, come on. I'll get you a nice table.
Appreciate it. So Urban Meyer finds himself dancing with a young lady on the floor. Not just dancing. He's in a chair. She's dancing on him. Okay, you get my drift.
It's an intimate type of dancing
situation. This is a family show. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not good.
And no relation, like it's not his wife.
Yes, it's not his wife, Shelley. In fact, Shelley, his wife, tweeted out awkwardly later after the video had surfaced of her husband dancing inappropriately with a woman at least half his age. She said, and I'm over here babysitting, and had a picture of her and her grandkids who were in the bathtub. That is a dig. Now, my question is this. Aside from the fact that they have, obviously, their whole relationship seemingly been like having to go from city to city and endure whatever the things are that have happened in those cities with him and the teams that he's been on, how does this bode for the Jacksonville Jaguars going forward? Is he going to be the long-term situation for them? Could he still be the guy who's going to end up turning that franchise around? Or is there just too much distraction now?
You know, it's a hard thing because in the NFL, it's really about winning. And I don't know how much people really, really care about your personal life. Unfortunately,
it's a distraction if you're losing.
It's a massive if their team's winning right now, this team, I'm not sure this actually gets out right now. They just people have ways of just kind of hushing stuff like this, and someone has it and said, hey, you know, if you don't release it, blah, 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 I'm going to, you know, and so they go, here's whatever money to hush people up. That happens, unfortunately. The NFL, I'm just telling you, they do not care. I really believe
if you win.
If you're winning, yes. Yeah. They just look at Urban Meyer and they said, okay, maybe the owner did this. Maybe the owner said, look, everywhere you've been, you've like turned it around immediately, and you are not turning it around here. So you know what? I like maybe you're on a short leash, and maybe Urban Meyer wants to be on a short leash,
right.
But there's clearly something with Urban Meyer where he is a guy that just says, I can't help myself. I can't be in a place very long. And if I don't have absolute,
especially if I'm not winning.
Yeah, right. And so to me, it feels like this just wasn't happenstance, that there was something more behind it.
So this is making the rounds down social media today. It's a screenshot of Urban Meyer on Fox Sports when he was breaking down on college football. This is hilarious, too, because everyone pointed this out immediately. He has criteria to examine struggling teams. Okay? Here are the things, according to Urban Meyer, this is him on Fox Sports, here are the three things he pointed out. Number one was trust issues. Shad Khan, the owner of the Jaguars, by the way, said this weekend, I appreciate Urban's remorse, which I believe is sincere. He now must regain our trust. Okay? So trust issues, boom. All right, very first thing. Number two is dysfunctional environment. Okay? Check and check.
They put the D in dysfunctional right there.
This is so far, this is on Urban Meyer's recipe list of how not to do it, right? And then the last one is, number three is my favorite. Sorry, I can't even get it out. Number three is selfishness. Okay? Urban Meyer over the weekend said, what I did was selfish. What I did was inexcusable. Shad Khan, the owner of the Jags, said, I've addressed this matter with Urban. Specifics of our conversation will be held in confidence.
Maybe Urban Meyer was trying to make a point. See, look, this is why we're losing, because of my behavior right here. So we got to turn this all around.
Do you think that there really is a possibility of him trying to get out of this? That he wants to get to L.A. somehow, be that USC head coach?
It'd be a heck of a way to get out of it.
That'd be really dumb.
But it would be really dumb. But I in spite of all these things, Urban Meyer has proven himself as he's a proven commodity, and he's had massive success a lot of places he's been. So I can't say that I wouldn't be surprised if it's happening. I'll tell you this really quick. When he was at Utah, he goes, "This is my last place. I'm not leaving here. My wife loves it here. We wanted to come here. We're not leaving." And when he left for Florida, I called him out on it. And I just knew, I go, so you're one of those coaches.
Okay.
And that's that. So So I haven't really trusted Urban Meyer, what he said, for a long time.
Let's take the break here. That's powerful stuff, Scott Mitchell. We come back. We've got a lot going on still. Hey, Jeremiah Jensen from KSL 5 Television is going to walk over, and we're going to chat a little bit more about that Urban Meyer situation. Plus, his thoughts on what Jaron Hall said tonight about his status in playing Utah or Boise State this weekend. Stay right here with us on KSL's Unrivaled.
Hey, sports fans, welcome back. It is KSL's Unrivaled. Scott Mitchell, Alex Curie joining us from KSL TV. Jeremiah Jensen. Apparently, this, I don't know, bowl projections, they keep getting adjusted.
Okay. This is in Scott's head today. He read it to me like it was, like, when an old guy goes, you know who died this last week? He reads the obituaries to like I'm your bride of 60 years. You read the obituaries. Read the obituaries of the bad bowl games.
That's not what I'm going to do.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll talk.
Where
about
does
that
it project the youth?
What I wanted to ask you guys a question. This is what I'm trying to get at here.
Okay.
What bowl would you want to go play in? If you could go into any bowl game in
100%.
college football,
We'll say it at the same time. Three,
no.
Okay, what? I've already got it.
Including the playoffs.
Okay. Say it at the same time. 3, 2, 1. The Rose Bowl.
Oh, jeez.
Why would you not? I grew up watching Washington and Michigan playing in that game.
No,
and
it's everything, all the pageantry, the tradition of bowl games. The Rose Bowl is it.
It's the granddaddy
right?
of them all.
I mean, even like great games like the Orange Bowl or the Sugar Bowl don't even come close to matching
a playoff game.
the tradition.
The kind of ball
what
at Jerry
about
World's
the
cool,
national
but
championship game? Would you go to that over? I'm saying you could play in it.
Yeah. And if it were at the Rose Bowl, even better. I'll be there. They do it every once in a while. They rotate it around and get it to the Rose Bowl. I love it.
The Rose Bowl's a national championship game?
Every once in a while.
The playoff.
The playoff. Yeah.
No, the
semifinals.
It was a playoff last year.
Right. Anyway, that's where I'd want to be. That or the Bahamas Bowl. Boom. I mean, you got to be like Marshall to play in that
bowl game. Outstanding location.
I would go there all the time.
Wanted the Aloha Bowl.
Oh, see?
That's the one.
Although
they
Aloha
don't have it
Stadium's-
anymore. I don't think they have it
They have a
anymore.
Hawaii Bowl.
They
don't
do.
care.
It's a Hawaii Bowl, and that stadium is garbage, and
Yes.
it's not at the beach. So why would you want to go to that bowl
Well,
game?
It's
'cause
hot.
It's Hawaii.
Yeah, it's true.
I
You
know.
get-
I'm just saying to just the whole.
I'd have a hard
ambiance
time
of everything.
focusing. I'd have a hard time focusing.
The Alamo Bowl, you got the Riverwalk. Just saying. and you walk for about 5 minutes.
I just
and
imagine
you
what
walk the river.
I want to know what the Cheez-It Bowl gift bag is. I mean, is it a gift bowl?
Lifetime
Full of-
supply of.
It's a box.
And I'm I like the burnt Cheez-Its, so I'd want extra ones
sure.
of those. I want extra ones of those. All right.
Love Cheez-Its.
JJ, our friend Urban Meyer,
The Utes
former
the Utes are going to the Gasparilla Bowl.
the Gasparilla Bowl.
Yeah.
That's good. Is that an alligator of some sort?
I don't know what Gasparilla is.
Okay.
Am I even saying it right?
I think it's Gasparilla. I don't know. No, but here's what I was going to say. I don't know what it is. I don't know what a Gasparilla is. JJ, our friend Urban Meyer, former University of Utah head football coach.
Yeah.
This is why I love how people pitch that. They go, former University of Utah head coach. And you're like, okay. Now, Urban was found himself in a compromising position at his own restaurant, by the way.
Yes.
That's his restaurant.
Yes, the Urban Meyer Pint House. Finds himself dancing with a young lady. Was wooed by a group to come over, take some pictures, dance with them. After you blow a massive lead, what was about to be your first win in Cincinnati, in the NFL against Cincinnati. So now the fallout has been. We were just talking about this. The fallout's been, people wondering about his commitment to that team. The Jags owner came out and said he's got he's already done the apology thing over the last couple of days, but now the Jags owner is saying he's got to, sort of reset expectations and that he's got to earn the respect of the team now. What does the future hold for this guy? Because it just seems like losing is one thing. Being a massive distraction like this is another.
Stop hiring Urban Meyer. What did they do any research? All you got to do is talk to some people. You know how things ended in Florida.
They had
a culture
issues.
there.
Health issues?
Yeah, right, yeah. And that the culture there was, obviously we know some of the people that came out of that culture.
Ohio State, health issues. Come on. Personal reasons.
And all the abuse that went on in there, and they turned a blind eye to it. That should have been enough. What happened to Ohio State should have been enough. But the Jacksonville Jaguars go and hire him. He's never coached in the NFL a lick. Why did they think that this was going to go well? Why did they think he was going to come in and be able to win in the NFL? There's no reason to believe that would have happened. And all you're going to have is stuff like this. And then when things go bad, which they rarely did for him, right? Everything was roses up here at the University of Utah. Florida, Ohio State. You win, nobody cares. But the second he doesn't win, he starts doing weird stuff and acting really weird and placing the blame somewhere else and bailing on his teams. And he's going to do the same thing here.
It's amazing.
I don't
Clearly an integrity issue here.
I don't think you're passionate enough about it, Jeremiah. I don't.
Am I way off,
Tell
guys?
me what you really think about it.
No, you're actually way on. But here's the thing. It's like the Jacksonville Jaguars, they don't care. The people don't care in the NFL.
Why don't they care?
They don't care because all they care about is winning. And so they go, look, we'll take all the baggage we can, whatever. If you win, if you can do what you've done everywhere you've been, and I think that was the appeal. That's the appeal, is no matter where he's been, he's won. And it hasn't taken him long to win. He's gone in places and like almost immediately turned it around. And I think that's what they're hoping for with the Jaguars. I just think the timing of all of this is just odd to me. It's like this kind of stuff.
Are you doing the conspiracy theory thing where you're like
1,000%?
He's throwing this thing so he can get that USC gig?
I don't know if it's him. I don't know if it's someone out there. I don't know if it's someone that he really offended or he really had some kind of issue with. But clearly, Urban Meyer, this just doesn't randomly happen. There's a reason for it. I don't know what the reason is. I just find
certainly he would
highly suspect.
What we do know,
showed up.
Everybody, stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason sometimes, right? And the stereotype of Urban Meyer, and for really successful college football coaches, is usually, you're not going to do this in the league. So far, that's proven true. And everybody's sitting around waiting for him to go to USC, where everybody agrees he would probably be amazing and could probably make that program back into.
Do you think he'd be amazing at
that
USC?
National powerhouse again?
When you say don't hire the guy, but
they don't find a way to win.
They don't care there. There
would be a lot of seedy stuff going on behind the scenes that we'd find out about 2 or 3 years later.
Well, that's what happens in Los Angeles. It's a seedy place. I mean, if there was ever a place for him to fit in.
Yes. And is there a school Hollywood that can't tolerate one more bad coaching hire? Whether it's winning or not, I mean, USC can't blow it again.
USC does not care.
I don't know
if
who
you're winning.
USC hires though.
I know the new one, like the whole thing. When they're talking about Anthony Lynn, when they're talking about James Franklin, I'm like, none of these things fit.
Nothing fits. You're right.
Honestly, the Hollywood thing that would be the Urban Meyer hire there would be amazing. It would It would be so USC.
The only thing USC.
It would be so USC.
The only thing
at this point, though, I think Urban has been exposed, and people realize that he's he's got integrity issues. I'm being kind here.
No. He's a creepy dude.
I mean, even the way he handled this situation today, where he wasn't really honest about what actually happened.
Do you remember when we played those?
We know what the story he told today is a lie.
Totally.
And he wouldn't look anybody in the face.
How about his wife tweeting out at him, basically calling him out on his infidelity?
It's just ridiculous. And he gets away with this over and over again. Like, why would USC want to? Is it worth it to USC to?
Yeah,
maybe. Which is sad.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, Jaron Hall on our Players Club show that played tonight, that we did tonight instead of Monday because of the Jazz preseason game last night on our air. Jaron was coy about his status still.
Of course.
And more injuries start to kind of bubble up now. I think we've talked a little bit about the possibility of the rib issue, which we've been talking about since his wind had been knocked out. But then there's now the question about whether or not he's even going to come back this week. This could be 3 weeks in a row of him not playing.
Yeah, and we don't even know if Baylor can go. So maybe you roll Jacob Conover out there against Boise State. Look, this Boise State team isn't the Boise State of the past. They're coming off a loss to Nevada at home. Look, Nevada's a good football team. I'm not taking anything away from Nevada, but Boise State boat races everybody in that league every year, except this year. They're 2-3. So if you're going to go through this rough patch here, it's probably good now, but they got to have those guys ready. Like, Baylor needs to be ready for Baylor. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Or Jaron needs to be ready for Baylor.
Phil Steele said Jacob Conover was going to be the starter by the end of the year.
He thought it was going to be him.
Thought it was going to be Jacob Conover.
You know what? Maybe it's his time.
We know about those injuries, how they work with the BYU quarterbacks. JJ, what's up on TV tonight, man?
So we got a wild card game going on, which is pretty cool. Red Sox, Yankees.
Not a big one either. Yeah, it's just about as big as a...
Let's go, Yankees.
So that's pretty cool. And the Utes are wearing a different look this Saturday. So Utah fans want to see that.
That's going to change the outcome.
And we'll hear from the Cougars as well as they get ready to play Boise State.
We do love ourselves some jersey change-ups now. It's 2021, speaking of. We're just like, can we wear a different jersey every week?
All black worked well for Utah State, didn't it?
Oh, boy. All right, we'll take the break here. Thanks, JJ.
Yep.
Talk to you again, man. More to go right here on KSL's Unrivaled. NFL Roundup next. Stay with us.
KSL's Unrivaled. The Unrivaled NFL Roundup. Premium Grade A pro football stories from your two hosts, a former NFL quarterback and the other guy. It's the Unrivaled NFL Roundup.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It is KSL's Unrivaled. It's the NFL Roundup, of course, where we... That's self-explanatory.
We round her up, don't we?
It's the NFL, too.
Yeehaw!
There you go. So here's what we're going to do. I want to bring a couple things up here. I'm going to ask you your opinion on this because at the beginning of the year, we were all just kind of like, oh, yeah. Sign this thing up. I mean, this is the Chiefs' Super Bowl season to lose. And it was another year that everybody thought Patrick Mahomes was just going to take flight, be your MVP. He was the MVP favorite. Now, Kyler Murray is now the MVP favorite front runner in Vegas with odds makers because Kyler Murray has led the Cardinals to the only 4-0 record. I think they're the
only undefeated team.
Only
in the
undefeated
NFL.
team left.
Yeah.
Scott, undefeated thing, especially 4 games in. I feel like that's such a first of all, it's fake. 4-0 team. Or what should I think?
How is it fake if you're 4-0?
No, I'm saying 4-0, but then like doing this whole you're the MVP front runner and you're the favorite to be in the NFC Championship game and in the Super Bowl, whatever. Because in the end, you still have to take down your Green Bays, who are going to be getting better as the season goes along.
There's a vetting process in the NFL. Okay. Oh, someone has some success. Like, look at there's only one undefeated team left. It's the Arizona Cardinals. That in and of itself is a shock. Like, take Kyler Murray out of this. The Cardinals aren't known for being 4-0 at any point ever. So this is a big deal. This is a big news story. Kyler Murray, if you remember, said, I'm playing football 1 year at Oklahoma, and then I'm going to play baseball. They give me $5 million to go do this. I'm not playing football. And he's a guy that he's one of these guys that you look at him and you go, never going to do it. Too small. He's going to run around a lot, and he can run.
Gadgety.
And then, but then all of a sudden, man, he gets better. You know what? He's better thrower than I thought. And then I'm like, he's a better runner than I thought.
He's got arm strength and at the wazoo, man.
He really is a talent, right? He's a really
Scott,
good talent.
You know what I like about his game, though?
He's learning how to play quarterback.
You know what I love about his game, though?
Can't wait.
Off-platform throws.
Yeah. He doesn't know on-platform, right?
Off-platform arm angles, what?
So, but the team they got a lot of talent, and they're one of these teams that's kind of surprising everyone right now. The NFC West, I actually think is really. I mean, I think Seattle's pretty good. I think
the Seahawks took it to the 49ers.
The Niners. I mean, the Rams are good. So it's a good division. But what happens to people is they put you on the pedestal. They're going to test drive you. Look at this. Kyler Murray, former first pick in the draft, Heisman Trophy, blah, blah, blah. And then they want to see either if you fail or if you fly, right? Because now that's another story. And so if they bring no attention to it, then it's a non-story. But it's a story because it's the Arizona Cardinals. It's a story because it's Kyler Murray.
That's the one
it becomes another even fascinating story no matter what happens. Because if they flop, they go, oh, yeah, these guys just tanked it. But if they continue to play well, people go, wow, the Cardinals are really for real.
I know we spent the better part of the first half of this hour talking about Urban Meyer. We were going to just talk a few minutes about it. Then JJ came in. He was fired up about it.
Little passionate.
Yeah. So what's wild to me is this seemingly like nonsensical. You've got Urban Meyer at the Jags, right? And he goes in there, and we're just going, yeah, he might not make it work at all. And then you've got Cliff Kingsbury at the Cardinals, who was not great in college.
No.
He was like, I think just 500 at Texas Tech, just kind of like borderline, maybe even
when
under.
He first got in the NFL either.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that you have these two different sides. It's the guy who, I mean, certainly we don't talk about him like we would Urban Meyer. We didn't expect much out of him. Maybe that was what did it for him, was like expectations were low, and Cliff Kingsbury is now 4-0, and they're the favorite now in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl, according to odds makers. And this is a guy who didn't have really a lot of success in college. I just don't get what the equation is.
Well, I'll tell you what the equation is. It's Kyler Murray fits the offense. That's the biggest thing. It's like, so he matches what Cliff Kingsbury is. There's also other people involved in this. And when you're Arizona and you get a lot of first picks in the draft or high draft picks, you start assembling some talent. And sometimes these coaches who kind of aren't like these demonstrative guys, they go, yeah, you're the defensive coordinator. I'm just going to leave you alone to do your thing. And if you have a really good coach, they can really grow in those settings. Whereas you have some coaches, they have their thumb on everything. It's kind of hard for a guy to really flourish. So when you have a less demonstrative head coach, a lot of times you develop talent within your staff.
He can kind of hide behind all the other headlining guys.
Even a guy like Andy Reid, Andy Reid doesn't have his finger on everything that's going on. And this guy's won over 100 games for two different franchises, and letting people develop around you, I think, is a real thing. And sometimes people do it by design, and maybe in Cliff Kingsbury's frame, it was by accident. That he's not that type of demanding coach where he's really going to put someone to task.
Let me ask you about the unspoken rules that we sometimes discuss in football, baseball. This one has to do with football. So in Monday nights, or in the Broncos and Ravens game on Sunday, you had kind of a stat padding incident at the end of the game where you needed 100-yard for the 100-yard rushing game to be that streak for them to keep it alive.
Right.
They needed 43, or they needed not 43. They needed like 21 yards or something like that.
Oh.
And Lamar Jackson ran for at the end of the game and was able to get it on the last play while they're up 2 touchdowns plus. And the Broncos said it was not cool. Can't believe you did this. What's your stance on that? I mean, in the end, you got to be ready for every down. I know you don't. You take a knee when you're about to win, but this is. John Harbaugh said this is something that my coaches and my players, like, it's important to them, and I'm not going to take it away from them.
Well, not only this, what's important to the Ravens? Winning in the preseason.
Yes,
I mean, it's the same. So there's this culture. There's this competitive culture, right? And I don't have an issue with it. I really don't. I don't have an issue. The issue may be, why would you be running your quarterback, who's your franchise?
Yep.
Put Tyler Huntley in there or someone else to run, but don't jeopardize when clearly the game is within reach.
43 games in a row they've rushed for 100 yards.
Don Shula,
plus.
when I would go in late in a game in certain situations to kneel on the ball, he's like, you kneel on the ball right underneath the center.
I don't want to take a bunch of.
I'm not losing yardage. So these guys are getting the shotgun and the snap, and they kneel down about 9 yards from the line of scrimmage
because they wanted the yards to count.
Shula would roll over in his grave seeing something like that. I get the competitive nature of things, and the reality is the guys who are complaining about it are competitive too. The fact is, you got your
the Broncos
beat,
and you can complain about something, and then people will go. But I mean, it's not a good look to complain about it.
There's a respect factor for your opponent, but there's also a massive competitive factor that kind of, I just know good teams. I think of the Baltimore Raven defense. They wouldn't give you anything in a walkthrough. A walkthrough when I was there.
Yeah.
So it doesn't hurt my feelings. I love that they're that competitive.
Plus a team with 43 straight games with at least 100 yards rushing. Not bad. Let's take the break here. We'll come back. 2-minute drill next. Wrapping things up. Stay right here with us on KSL's.
Alrighty, sports fans. Welcome back. It is KSL's Unrivaled. Scott Mitchell, Alex Curie. 8:50, 2-minute drill, last segment of the show. And if you've missed any of our show, just download the KSL Sports app, and then you don't miss anything.
And tonight we had the Players Club.
Yeah.
Jaron Hall came in on a Tuesday instead of a Monday as usual, and so thanks to the Jazz preseason game on Monday. Can you believe?
That's so awesome.
Last night I'm driving home, and I was listening to the last part of the broadcast, and I'm like,
Right.
I'm on the station that I'm on, and the Jazz are on that station.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. You know, to hear Locke and Booner making that call on our airwaves last night, I got chills, man. It's
Yep.
awesome.
And they heard it all the way past Omaha.
Omaha.
Yeah.
Omaha. I will say that having been on
You know
the
what
airwaves,
Omaha means? Snap me the ball. That's all it means.
It means like right now, or what?
Like because they have a silent count,
Yeah.
right? And they're doing all these things. It means snap the ball.
Well, that's no fun.
I know.
Can you make up something more interesting next
No,
time?
but well, I can make it up. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Give away some of those quarterbacking secrets. What was I saying right before that?
it's all not rocket science to begin with. It's not.
That's one of the things I've been very disappointed about.
Sorry.
Will you keep some of that secrecy with you guys and be like, oh, yeah, no. Very few people know about this. And when you go out there and go, yeah, actually, when I got out there first and I found out that it was just playing football, I'm like, don't say that. The rest of us cannot say that, okay? Oh, I was just playing football out there.
Well, no, it was like football that I'd played my whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a different game.
Yeah.
It
Plus $1 million.
No, it wasn't.
It was later.
It was
Come on, man.
Hundreds of dollars.
Hundreds of dollars. Yeah. Hey.
And you know what? I'd have done it for free. I really would have.
This is me looking at Scott weird.
All right, up until maybe.
I was going to say. Did you take those hits for free? Really?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
There's no stinking way. Hey, it's that time of the night. Like Scott said, 2-minute drill. That means I get to hit the old music here. And then, Scott, you tell us what the 2-minute drill is. We haven't done a 2-minute drill for a second. For a hot
Oh, my
second.
goodness. Well, late in the football game, you're going to field, kick a field goal, score a touchdown. Don't have a lot of time, so you hurry. Show's the same way. Still got a lot to talk about, but not a lot of time, so you talk a little bit about a lot of things. Hurry up, finish the show, go home with a trophy, because everyone gets a trophy, and we're happy. 2 COVID shots and a whole plethora of desserts. But
Yeah.
it has to include a peanut butter bar. The original peanut
Can
butter
I throw
bar.
out a dessert?
Yeah,
Can I
give
throw
me-
out-
give me a new one.
No, let me just. No.
Oh,
this is a dessert
Are we
confession.
retiring a dessert?
I hate it. I've always hated it.
Oh.
Pumpkin pie.
Yeah, it's very overrated. And it needs a lot of whipped cream. If you're going to eat
Not
it.
the first person I've heard that from today, by the way.
Yeah, if you're going to eat, a lot of whipped cream. Now,
Pumpkin pie. Okay, listen.
cheesecake pumpkin pie, different story. Anything cheesecake is a different story.
I have moved away from the pumpkin spice stuff. I have divorced myself totally from it.
That's almost un-American.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
Pumpkin
it
spice
kind of is.
It's not good. It's overrated. It's been adulterated and
You know what spice is good, though?
what?
Apple.
That's not a spice. That's a fruit, Scott.
Well, no, you said pumpkin spice.
Oh, apple spice.
Apple spice
Yeah,
cake.
apple and
Or-
cinnamon?
Or like the crisp.
I will eat an apple crisp
Yeah.
7,000 times
With
more
vanilla-
than that. Yes.
vanilla ice cream.
Don't mess around with an apple crisp. So,
See?
by the way, like I was saying,
it's a good
if
spice.
you missed Jaron Hall's, if you missed the Players Club, you can go back and download it. You can hear his status for this week. Spoiler alert. He doesn't know what his status is for this week, to be honest. Or he does, and he's not telling us.
He's just not telling.
I don't think he knows. I think that he gets to the last moment where they'll evaluate him, and they'll give him a yes or no, and I don't know if he knows. That's the honest truth. That's what happened last week. Scotty, first one up here on our 2-minute drill, if you please. Kyrie Irving missed Nets practice due to not being vaccinated, which of course is required in New York. He's probably going to miss out on a paycheck. We've talked about the dismay and wondering how these guys are doing it. In Kyrie Irving's case, he could miss out on an NBA title run with his team. If you're the Nets, do you let him play the road games in places where you don't need to be vaccinated?
I'm sure you do. I mean, this is, I don't know how many places that will actually
There's
be
a
at
lot
the
of
end
guys
of
on
the
his
day.
team that are like, hey, man, we're doing it. Why aren't you? And I get the personal choice thing, but then do you let him play in these other cities or do you punish him?
Well, why
by
would you
not letting
punish
him-
him?
I'm just saying.
I mean, it's a rule, so it's not necessarily a punishment. It's just like, hey, if you can play in this city, and I don't know that the vaccination issue is going to be a big issue because I think a lot of these guys, we talk about load management. I know I've said this before, but I think they can possibly, you probably map it out. You probably sit there and go, Yeah, look, you know, we're going to be in Washington, D.C., and we're going to be in New York, and we're going to be wherever. I'm really torn by it, quite frankly. I really am. I mean, there's a side of me that just says, just get your vaccination. But there's another side of it. It's like, well, it's your choice. I mean, there is a lot of science behind the fact that it does work, and it did work for me, and I know it's worked for millions of people. Not sure why you would not want to get it. I don't understand it.
Lane Kiffin has done a lot of dumb stuff in his time coaching.
I don't know that he's ever done anything really smart, but let's go with it.
I will say that this one that everybody's giving him a lot of guff for and a lot of grief for, he does not deserve. So he had to come out and apologize this week for his comments that he made pre the game against Alabama, which has now gone viral. It's him in the pregame kind of back and forth with ESPN, or sorry, CBS with Jamie Erdahl. He's doing the interview. He has a headset on from CBS, and she's talking about what can people expect from this game, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, get your popcorn ready, and tossed the headset toward the cameraman, and ran off. And in my mind, I was like, that's funny. Now, did they get their butts kicked by Alabama? Yes. So are people going after him because of that? Why is he needing to apologize?
Who cares?
They said, well, he threw the headset kind of toward the cameraman a little bit too aggressively. I'm like, okay, so he's saying he abused the cameraman? What are we talking about here? Coaches do this garbage all the time. And I don't know. He said he had heard somebody in the crowd yelling to other fans, get your popcorn ready, this is going to be a good one. And that, to me, sounds fun and funny. Who freaking cares?
I don't care. And I think when you have an Alabama and you probably don't have any shot of winning, you'll try anything. You'll try any kind of psychological thing. You'll try anything to psych your team up. You'll try to have this fake, confidence and chatter about, we're so ready for them and, we're going to light it up kind of thing. And who's Alabama, whatever. Alabama always is going to get everyone's best game. But I think it's one of those things where he's just trying to be funny. He's trying to lighten it up a little bit. Why not if you're playing Alabama? And I just get tired of all this. I really do. It's like, why can't people just calm down about 10 octaves and just not take everything so serious? It's like everyone is offended by every absolute thing we say, no matter what it is. And people just need to relax a little bit. And the problem clearly is we're over media-sized. Media-ized?
No, you've got media eyes. They're beautiful.
Yeah. No, I got Betty Davis eyes. So I just think it's hard to be human and just kind of.
No, we're over media-ized.
Media
that sounds like a very Southern thing. Well, he's just been media-ized since he was born, man. I mean, that's the problem with him. He's been media-ized. Look at that baby. He's a demon. Call down the forces of heaven on this little baby. Look at him.
Media-ized.
He's been media-ized. Look at him. He's been on Facebook since he was born, man. All right, let's take the break here.
Well, that's what happens. You stare at that stuff too long, and it messes with your eyes.
Media-ized.
Media-ized.
She's got no media eyes. Scott, let's take the long break here. We'll be back tomorrow for another edition of KSL's Unrivaled. For Scott Mitchell, I'm Alex Curie. We'll see you then, everybody.
KSL FM Midvale, KSL Salt Lake City.
At Jewelers Mutual, we're a little obsessed with jewelry. Obsessed like auctioneers with talking fast.
50, we're going to fit sold.
Pop stars with auto-tune.
Yeah.
And dentists with asking questions.
So, how did he propose?
After they've put their hands in your mouth.
Great.
Yes, we've made jewelry our obsession for over 100 years. We love it so much we named our kids Ruby, Amber, and Opal.
Venti soy latte for Opal?
At Jewelers Mutual, we insure jewelry and only jewelry, which is why people who are also obsessed with jewelry trust us with theirs.